Gabby Jay!
Yay!
Ich bin eine Kampfmaschine. Mein Name von Kaiser.
Canadian Burger!
Я сода Попински! Я задавлю тебя!
Ladies and gentlemen, Super Macho Man! Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event. Introducing in the red corner, the champion of the world, Mr. Sandman!
Punch-Out! The Master Engine. This game is what really kickstarted my channel and got me to where I am today. I have infinite thankfulness to this game for doing that, but I'd be lying if I said I liked that original video. I didn't use a script, the mic quality was bad, the music was too loud, and my takes were awful. So I'm gonna remake the video right now. New takes, new mic, new year, new me. Without further ado, let's go. Wow, who could have seen this coming? What happens if you take Glass Joe's fight from the NES, give him a new taunt, made his attacks weaker, made him even slower, gave all his attacks a piss easy counter window, and made his one-punch knockout even easier to hit? You get this fight. What is there I even need to say? This fight is piss easy. Even if you're just doing the classic dodge and punish strategy, Joe still has nothing. The only way I could see a new player losing to Joe is by dodging too early and getting smacked, but even considering that, you'll need to get smacked with 10 hooks to get knocked down once, and unless you have the IQ of an infant, you should be smart enough to not dodge as soon as you see Joe move a single pixel. Are you really that scared of Glass Joe? I didn't think so.
Nein, 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 nein!
Von Kaiser is basically the same as his Wii iteration. He has a simple jab and uppercut. The only difference is he's easier now because his counter windows are more generous, and his attacks do less damage. I guess his attacks are decently fast for a third fighter, but that doesn't really matter when his taunt is still just as pathetic as the Wii version. I don't really have much else to say, it's just his Wii fight in the NES engine.
Disco Stew slides in front of you!
Disco Kid has some decently difficult attacks to dodge. His delayed jabs and hooks might be able to screw someone over. He can also now use his one-directional hook for more than one side, forcing you to put some thought into what you do. When I first played this game, his one-directional hooks combined with his delays actually made him somewhat challenging to me. So much so that I even managed to lose to him a few times. That said, that's all undermined by how bad his defense and durability is. Seriously, if you know how, you can just juggle him back and forth with good rhythm. He also gives a lot of stun, giving at the very least 5 hits and at the very most 8 hits. Overall, it's not the easiest fight, but it still somehow managed to move down on my list. Why? Well, because of this guy.
Yay!
Translating the Super Punch-Out fighters into the Mike Tyson engine was considered a fantasy before this fan game. And yet, this fan game undertook the task, and they did really well. Super Punch-Out fighters have much more diverse move pools, and that holds true for Gabby Jay. Gabby Jay is just a better Glass Joe, having faster attacks, less stun time, and an upgraded taunt punch. Instead of taunting and then attacking, his taunt leads into the attack, and instead of said attack being a normal hook, it's a more powerful hook that does a decent amount of damage. He also will do a move where he dodges over and over again before stepping back and healing. Granted, it's not hard to knock him down in this stance, but if you somehow can't, it serves as a massive time waster, which is a point in his favor. That said, his attacks are still very easy to parry for stars, and his taunt has the usual curse of parry for an instant knockdown, 3-star punch for an instant knockout. You can also dodge his taunt punch for a flurry. In case you don't know what a flurry is when you stun an opponent and your punch speed goes way up in order to make dealing the dozens of punches worth of punishment not take 5 hours. It's overall a pretty easy fight, but it's exactly what I would expect from a Mike Tyson version of Gabby Jay's fight, so I overall like it.
Meanwhile in Canada...
While Bear Hugger is a really good mix of his Wii fight and Super fight, he is also incredibly easy. The Wii part is his basic attacks, those being his overhead and his hook, and the Super part is his taunting phase and his bear hug. His taunting phase has him infinitely taunting you, and if you punch him in the face, nothing happens, but if you punch him in the stomach, he'll go into stun. His bear hug, on the other hand, is pretty much the same, except it does a bit less damage than the Wii variant, doing about 35 damage. I doubt he's going to be able to make me see Northern Lights with those Canadian ass punches. The other difference is that if you counter it, he'll get dizzy, spin backwards, and come back to you. You can get a ton of stun off of it if you want, or use the star you just got from countering the bear hug to give him an instant knockdown, or use a 3-star punch for an instant knockout. The main problem with this fight that puts it so low is just how slow his attacks are, how easy his attacks are to counter, and how much damage countering does. We're moving up into D tier, and I'll be honest, King Hippo is the exact same as his Wii iteration. He has jabs you can get stars off of, overheads, and a Hippo hug you need to duck. You need to parry his overheads, then wail on his stomach in order to deal a lot of punishment, and one knockdown is the only one you need to knock him out. The only difference is getting stars off of his jabs requires you to delay your gut punch, but that's about it. Piston Hurricane, much like Gabby Jay, is what his fight could have been if it weren't dragged down by the engine. It's a very similar fight, with all the same attacks, that being jabs, hooks, uppercuts, a counter jab he uses when you try to punish his taunt too early, and his Hurricane Rush. The only difference is his Hurricane Rush is only 4 punches rather than going on forever until you block 6. Overall, it's a great adaptation of his fight, but his original fight was easy, so this one has to be too. I've gotta say, Mr. Master did a great job translating both of the arcade exclusive characters. He has an incredibly simple pattern. He does a taunt, which gives you a star, does a triple jab, does 3 uppercuts, which you can get stars off if you delay the punishment. He then does this pattern again, but after the 3 uppercuts, he does a special attack, that being his clinch. This is the only attack in the entire game you can't dodge, and instead need to parry. That said, the counter window is pretty generous, and isn't really that tough. I also think his pattern is just too simple, but he still has some tricks up his sleeve.
I can't wait for this to be over, just so you'll stop saying the word man like a Jamaican.
Bob Charlie, much like Gabby Jay and Piston Hurricane, is essentially just his super fight in the Mike Tyson engine. The thing is, that ups the difficulty on a few of his attacks, the main culprit being his double hook. He also has some delayed jabs, which, yes, you can just block, but it's still something. You can also counter his jive uppercut with a star punch to instantly knock him down, and a 3-star punch to instantly knock him out. He definitely fits his role as the first fight of the major circuit.
Think fast, Chuckle Nuts!
Kid Quick is easily the most different from his source material. Makes sense since that fight is incredibly bland. Anyways, this fight has him doing different attacks after each set of 3 jabs, including a hook, a one-directional uppercut, a double uppercut which requires some precise timing, and his special attack. It's essentially a Simon Says game where he'll show you arrows and you need to dodge in the order he shows. The main thing that can throw you off is if you whiff a hit, he'll dodge and punish, which can throw off his pattern, but that's about it. Great Tiger is very similar to his Mike Tyson's variant. He starts off using his jabs telegraphed by the jewel on his turban blinking, and after 4 of those, he'll just use one-directional uppercuts, which are parryable. The only difference with the fight is he has 2 new attacks. The first is a 3-jab combo ending off with an uppercut, presumably inspired by the arcade, and the second one is his Mirage Dance from his title defense fight in Punch-Out Wii. While he is an absolute star generator, the 3-jab combo and the Mirage Dance are both decently difficult to dodge, putting him here.
This is Sparta!
Dragon Chan's fight is literally just a super iteration but in the Mike Tyson engine. That said, putting it in the Mike Tyson engine does make it harder, although it does it at the cost of the fight's original core gimmick, but that's not what we're here to talk about. He has high and low jabs, a healing move, a single kick, and a triple kick. Now, that may make it sound difficult, but all of the attacks are telegraphed for a long time, so you'll always know what move he's about to do and when he's about to do it. Aaron Ryan's fight is a combination of his Wii fight and his Super fight. The inspiration from his Wii fight is the fact that you need to parry his attacks to deal damage, said attacks being an elbow, a hook, and an uppercut. And the inspiration from his Super fight is his rush he uses on his third phase, and that's where the problem comes in. His rush has him using 2 rounds of 4 jabs and 1 uppercut. The problem is you only have 7 stamina, meaning if you block all the punches, you'll get winded, meaning you can't get any punishment off of his second uppercut, or his headbutt. He also has a lot of HP, with beating him in 1 round being very difficult. You also can't hit him with the Star Punch, while he's stunned due to him getting out of stun too fast. Overall, it's a fight where you can do the bare minimum, but it's more ideal to do extra.
You call these things chips, instead of crispity, crunchy, munchy, crackerjack, snacker, nibbler, snap and crack, pop, Westerpool, Chester, Shire, Queen's lovely jubbly delights. That's rather a bit cringe, innit, bro?
I put this at number 10 last time. Jesus. Yet another super rep whose fight is essentially the same as his super fight. Narcissus Prince has the gimmick of not letting you punch his face unless you stun him. Except, unlike in Super, all of his attacks, bar the jabs, allow you to put him into stun. Said attacks are very simple, being jabs, hooks, uppercuts, and triple jabs. That said, what puts him so close to the top half of the list is that the timings for parrying his attacks are extremely tight, so if you want to dip your toes in speedrunning, you're gonna need to be on them.
I am in Spain without the A.
Much like Bear Hugger, Don Flamingo is a very good combination of all of his fights. The fight starts with him taunting you infinitely until you make the first move. When you do, he smacks you. After a little while, he'll stop taunting you and instead go into his second phase, where he throws out some pretty fast attacks, with his Toro uppercut being especially fast. He also has this classic Rose Flurry, where he throws 4 one-directional uppercuts at you, telegraphed by him dancing in the same pattern he'll throw uppercuts in, making it a game of Simon Says. That said, he also has his Infinite, which you can trigger by parrying his flamenco uppercut. If you do that, he does a little recovery animation, and if you punch him in the face, he'll do it again. You can then repeat the pattern of gut punch, face punch, face punch to keep the pattern going. This fight feels fully realized, and while it doesn't match Title Defense Don Flamenco in terms of difficulty or quality, it's still a great and difficult fight.
Lights flicker in the shadows, crawl out where the face of my enemy is. I hide behind the mask, hide behind the mask.
Masked Muscle is easily one of the weirdest fights in the game, having some unique attacks, including a 2-jab, 1-hook combo, the taunt punch that's surprisingly different from the 2 Frenchmen, a powerful lunging headbutt, and a spit attack. Now, the spit admittedly got nerfed, since instead of the effect lasting for about 15 seconds, it just instantly deletes all of your stamina and puts a weird effect on your screen. There's also his taunt punch, which is a one-directional uppercut he uses 4 times in a row, which he then follows up with one of his special attacks. Overall, due to it being in the Mike Tyson engine, along with adding stuff, it gets to take its spot as the first boss in B tier. For only being the 8th fight in the game, Piston Honda is surprisingly hard. His attacks are fast and he throws in some fake outs. His Honda Rush is also really difficult to block since his punches don't slow down when you block them. His side-switching uppercut also doesn't have a counter window, so if you try to parry it, you'll just get hit. Overall, it's a pretty hard fight for where it is in the game, making it a decent roadblock, and a very noticeable upgrade from Piston Hurricane and from both of his NES fights. Bald Bull is a pretty hard fight. Makes sense since he's the World Circuit Champion. He has some fast rolling jabs, some fast hooks, some fast uppercuts. He even has a double uppercut you can counter with the Star Punch to get an instant knockdown, much like Kid Quick. He'll also spam uppercuts once he starts using them until he decides they aren't working. That said, what brings him down is the Bull Charge. Of all the different versions of the Bull Charge, this one is easily the easiest, giving you plenty of time to react, and an incredibly generous counter window. Though, I will admit, parrying multiple of his attacks in a row requires some decent coordination, but it makes for an extremely satisfying combo to pull off.
Mr. Sandman.
For having some hard fights in the official series, Mr. Sandman's fight in this game is honestly pretty easy by his standards. He'll start with using 10 fast rolling jabs, but those can be simply dealt with by blocking. After that, he'll throw some overheads and hooks. This is the first fight that starts a trend of parrying attacks not giving you stars, with the only opportunities for stars being his taunt and his uppercuts. His Dreamland Express is also one-directional, meaning it's not just mindlessly dodging 3 times, which makes it much harder. The hardest part of this fight is his durability, since he'll most likely take you to at least the second round. That said, what puts him barely in the top 10 is that his patterns are very simple, with no branches or complications to worry about. Soda Popinski is a very hard fight, with an asterisk. His hooks are fast, his uppercuts are fast, and his jabs come out without any wind-up, meaning you pretty much have to be blocking constantly. The blocking trick with his uppercuts also doesn't work, so you'll actually have to deal with his attacks, leaving you at his mercy. So what's the problem? Well, he also has his taunt where he drinks his soda, and if you hit it out of his hand, he'll do a Dreamland Express, which is where the fight falls apart. While his regular attacks are hard, his special attack is pretty easy, and it allows you to deal heavy punishment. So while this fight is hard, while he has the upper hand, while you have the upper hand, he doesn't stand a chance. Next up is Heekiro. Now, of all the super exclusives, Heeki definitely had the most stuff removed. He doesn't have his 4-jab combo or his 2-hook combo. His hair whip attack has also been changed, going from an attack you need to dodge and duck to an attack you just need to dodge precisely, twice. You can also counter it to get an instant knockdown, or hit it with a 3-star punch for an instant knocked out. That said, his attacks are all still very quick, much like in his original fight, which puts him here. Mad Clown is definitely a wall at first. While his attacks aren't that fast, especially considering the 2 fighters before him are Soda and Heeki, that said, what puts him this high up is his variety of attacks. He has a one-directional side chop he can lead his uppercut into, an ear clap that heals him, and his ultimate attack. Yep, we're dealing with a projectile fighter. He'll throw 6 juggling balls at you, forcing you to dodge precisely. And even if you dodge those, he follows it up with a massive ear clap. Oh wait, did I say that was his ultimate attack? Well, I lied, since when he gets up from a second knockdown, it's showtime! He goes completely Insano style, throwing dozens of jabs at you, throwing in all his other attacks between sets of 3 jabs. Overall, his basic attacks are decidedly rudimentary. His special attacks are ridiculously hard, some of the hardest in the game.
I will send you to Jesus.
Corllo is a very hard fight to talk about. He's extremely hard, but it's hard to describe why. Is it because he does a lot of damage that he doesn't just put into one hit, but rather several hits? Is it because said several hits each take away stamina individually, making it really easy to get winded? Is it because it's really hard to tell what Hoi is doing until he's already doing it? Is it because he shimmies back and forth while in stun, forcing you to punch back and forth? Is it because he brought a whole ass staff into the ring? Well, no, none of those reasons make this fight difficult on their own, but when you combine them, they make an incredibly hard fight, putting it this high up.
No! My name's not
Rick Bruiser is a very tricky fighter, and works very well as your final gut check before the final 3. Most of his attacks are very basic, but they're still fast and strong to boot, especially when he throws in some combos. That said, he also has a few cheap shots to throw in. The first is an uppercut elbow combo, which requires you to dodge twice, and the second one is his earthquake attack. He'll elbow the floor, causing you to freeze, and he'll immediately throw a powerful uppercut. His attacks also have him leaning into them, requiring you to punch in specific directions. The only thing keeping him out of the number 4 spot is that he doesn't have his arm break your elbow, so you'll never be able to not punch where he went. Overall, it's a very hard fight, but he doesn't hold a candle to his brother.
Stop posting about Super Macho Man! I'm tired of seeing it!
While Mr. Sandman was a bit easy by his standards, Super Macho Man is anything and everything but. Super Macho Man has some of the fastest uppercuts in the whole game, and even has a side-switching uppercut to try to fake you out. He also has two combos, one being a jab hook combo, and the other being a 2-jab, 2-side-switching uppercut combo. He also has his devastating spin punches, and they're insanely powerful. That said, the only thing keeping him out of the top 3 is the Super Macho clothesline. It's extremely telegraphed and gives you a lot of punishment. That said, this fight is still insanely hard.
Life could be a dream. Life could be a dream.
Mr. Dream is the penultimate boss of the game, and needless to say, he fills his role really well. He starts the fight by using only his Dream uppercuts for the first minute of the fight, and these uppercuts do half of your HP each. After that, the fight becomes a lot easier with him using wink punches, jabs, hook combos, and uppercut combos, although he will throw in some super uppercuts every now and then. That said, if that was all this fight had, it would be pretty high, but only number 4. What puts him at number 3 is his super attack, the Master Uppercut. He'll step back, blink a bunch, and as soon as he stops, you immediately need to dodge, otherwise he slams you with an instant knockdown punch. Overall, this fight is ridiculously hard, but there's 2 fights that are harder. Nick. While not the hardest fight, Nick Bruiser is easily the best fight in the game. It starts the same as the super fight, with him hitting you with 6 fast punches, followed by an instant knockdown elbow that he follows up with 2 hooks, forcing you to dodge twice. He then goes back to basics, throwing jabs, hooks, and uppercuts. That said, he still has some tricks up his sleeve, including a double uppercut, a shuffle hook, and his super move. This attack has him throwing 8 of those fast punches, ending it off with a devastating uppercut. This is one of the hardest attacks in the whole game. It doesn't quite make it on the podium, but it's still incredibly hard. Nick is an absolute weapon. That said, he's no Tyson. Speaking of which, on to number 1. Gee, who could have seen this coming? The fight starts off with Tyson using 1 minute worth of dynamite uppercuts. All of them are one-directional, and all of them are instant knockdowns. After a minute of that, he'll proceed to go into his second phase where he'll mostly use his wink punches, but he'll also throw in some 2-hook, 1-uppercut combos, some 2-jab, 1 super uppercut combos, some dynamite uppercuts, and his super move. This attack has him using his Hurricane Rush, except instead of it being only 4 slow punches, it's now 11 light speed punches, ending off with an uppercut. This is easily the hardest attack in the whole game, which makes sense since it belongs to the hardest fighter. Overall, this fight is not only the hardest fight in the whole game, but is harder than Tyson's original fight, making it easily the hardest fight in the game and a perfect way to end it off. And that was the list. Did you agree? Did you disagree? Let me know. Like, subscribe, join my Discord, yada yada. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye!